Hello. Yeah, as you can see, I'm already switching back formats of my talking videos from audio only to just video of me because I might go back and forth. I just didn't like being limited to only being able to record when sitting at my desk with my mic, you know? I liked being able to record on the cuff wherever I am. For example, right now I'm at work and on my lunch break, so that I'd use this time. Time is a precious commodity. Gotta use it where you can find it. So I thought I'd use this time to record a little bit. I am pretty sick right now. My voice doesn't sound too bad for being sick, to be quite honest. Like, my voice has sounded way worse when I've been sick before, but I'm feeling like shit. But something else in my life has been making me feel the exact opposite, and that is Arcane. I have watched season 1. At the point I'm recording this, I've not seen any of season 2 and have literally zero spoilers and zero knowledge of what happens. I have no idea what's to come. I've seen nothing, which is incredibly exciting. So a lot of people have been telling me to watch this like loosely in the background for a while, but then when the new season came out recently, the fervor's really picked up, and I've had multiple people tell me specifically, you will love this show. You specifically will love this show. And I'm like, okay, there's a difference between people recommending shows and being like, oh, it's a great show, you should watch it. Like, for example, like Breaking Bad, like, it's recommended all the time to me, but it's not, you will love this show. It's always, oh, it's one of the best shows ever made. People recommending Arcane to me specifically are like, I know you, and you specifically will resonate with this show. And that really sold me on it a lot more and made it more of a priority for me. And with MagFest coming up in a few weeks, I'm like, if I'm really going to like this show and I end up liking it, I would like to catch up before MagFest so I can, like, buy art, take pictures with cosplayers, like do the things I do when I really love something at a con. So I figured, hey, you know what? Let's do it. I watched all of season 1 over the course of, was it 2 days, I think? I don't know if that's right. I don't know. Anyway, 2 or 3 days, I think. Only 9 episodes, 45-minute episodes. And holy shit. This is... I have not seen season 2 yet. And I will say season 2's trajectory could completely change it. I've only heard good things, but, I am, my own person. I could not connect as well profoundly with season 2 and the directions they take. That's very well possible, and this might not be at the position I feel that it is currently. That very well could change. That's my caveat. But from having seen season 1 alone, this is one of the best things I've ever watched. Right off the bat, the animation and art style is absolutely incredible. It's very reminiscent of like the Spider-Verse animation style and art style, and it is so fucking beautiful, and all the character designs are incredible. Every I mean, not everyone, of course, but like so many characters are so hot because that's like just like a superficial thing, but like, God. Yeah, so I'll start that off the bat. The soundtrack, I will say, was probably my only weak point. I am someone who is a defender of Imagine Dragons. I think their first album, Night Visions, is an incredible album. The song that they chose for the OP and to be a motif throughout the show, Enemy, I think it's called, is, I think, an awful song. I just hate that song, and the fact that it's used so as the OP of the anime OP of the show and used as a motif throughout the show was fucking, I don't know. I did not like that. But that's the only thing. That's the only thing I did not like about this show. I just can't get over how good this is. The world building is so fucking real and incredible, and we only get one city. The entire story takes place in the confines of one city, and you feel after this one season that you have a complete understanding of the levels of this city, how it works, where things are located. It just, the world building is so rich and detailed, and the fact, I don't know if they expand worldwide during the second season, But I feel like the fact that it is contained to this one city does so much benefit to the world building, because you get such a real sense of like what this society is like, and what these like locations are like, and what life and living in this society is like. And you get like, I love locational world building. I like when you get broader picture of like how an area is, but also specific like nooks and crevices, like specific rooms and hallways and like liminal spaces, and you get such a deep, rich sense of that. So the world building is just so incredible. It honestly, surprisingly, it reminded me a lot of like Mad Max / Furiosa's world building. Furiosa specifically. It reminded me quite a bit of that, especially when you get to like the Undercity or Nation of Zon, as some characters refer to it as. So the world building is incredible, but I think where this series really resonated with me is the characters. These are some of the best characters ever written, and it's so rare that I feel that I can confidently say that. I think the best character writer ever is George R. R. Martin in the A Song of Ice and Fire series, and I think that these characters, in their depth and complexity and realism, and their contrast to a fantasy / sci-fi world, is incredibly reminiscent of the character writing of A Song of Ice and Fire, in my opinion. Every character has so much depth and realism to their like way of being and arc, that like everything is so logical. You might not agree with their behaviors or want them to behave in certain ways, but everything makes so much sense. There is no out of character, weird writing choices in terms of character decisions at all in this season. Zero. It is perfection on all fronts, even if they're making like bad decisions and actively harmful decisions for themselves or for others. Like, it is so logically sound. It makes so much sense. And it's not even just from a technical writing perspective. Like, I connected to these characters, like, so many of them, so damn much. Like, for example, oh my god, am I really blanking on the villain's name? Or, that's the thing too, there's no real, like, there are antagonistic forces, but there's no real villains, because everyone is working on a path of what they deem to be righteousness, I think. Like, I get the, like, everyone is so, like, is so committed to their ideals or their goals or the people they care about, that it's like, you don't really see them as a villain. Even the main villain, like, I'm looking up the name real quick. Silco. Honestly, Silco is like up there with like Doflamingo from One Piece as like one of my favorite written villains of all time. I think I like the depth of his character and the fact that he is like a horrible person, yet you like connect and resonate with him and understand like where he's coming from and why he's doing what he's doing, and you feel like emotion for him, and you want a villain that is doing terrible things to succeed. And that is such a like rare tenet of writing, even if you like so value the heroes in this story. And that's the thing, the heroes too are so complex, and like everyone is a real tangible human being in this show. Everyone has so much complexity to them that there's no really like heroes and villains. Everyone is just someone that is working toward what they think is right, you know? And I love that to death. I love that so much. And you know, I connected so much with all these characters. They're so incredibly well written. And I think the biggest connection I had was with the character of Jinx. Never did I ever think I would be sitting here and saying Jinx from League of Legends is one of my new top 5 probably fictional characters of all time. I never, like, those words coming out of my mouth are insane to me. And I think that goes to a broader point of this show being so insanely good for a League of Legends TV show. Like, it's unfathomable how this happened. I do not understand. But to specifically go back to Jinx for a second, it is so rare that I resonate and connect with a character so deeply. I think it happens so minimally these days. I think the last one I had, and this was the last one I had for years probably, like, honestly, I'd say probably the last ones I've had in, like, the past 10 years, like, Nico from One Piece when I caught up with One Piece, Yamato from One Piece as well, and Futaba from Persona 5 are characters I really connect with and cared for and resonated with. And I think, like I 100% think, this is all, like, preemptive, of course, because of season 2 could very well change this, but Jinx in this show it has hit that level for me. Like, I have such a deep connection to this character, and, like, I found myself just crying so much just from what she's experiencing, and she's so fucking real and raw, and it's like, it's such a profound look into, like, the mental and emotional and, like, harm and the serious mental illness that someone will develop from the horrible life that they experienced and the specific tangible things that happen to them. And it's everything just fits right into place for why the character is like that. There's nothing that is irrational. I mean, no, not irrational is the wrong word. Illogical in terms of the writing. And God, like, I felt this with Futaba from Persona 5 as well as Yamato, where it's like, it's not even like it's not a husbando or waifu thing at all. Like, I would say it's just an emotional connection, like almost like a parental instinct, I would say, that I have occasionally toward fictional characters, where I just want to, like, adopt them and take care of them and give them a good life. And that's how real they feel, that I feel like I want to do that for a character that isn't a real person, that doesn't actually exist. And I feel that so strongly with Jinx in this show. Like, very similarly how I felt, like, with Futaba and Yamato, where I just want to, like, I just have such a strong connection to them, and, like, they just, like, take it over my brain. They're Blorbos. And the fact that that's just one character out of this roster of incredible characters, like Vi and Caitlyn, and, like, and the fact that, like, even when it goes to the, like, aristocracy and wealthy side of things, those characters are equally as fascinating, incredible, and real, and conflicted, and, like, there's no subplot in this show that's, like, weaker than the others. There's no character arc in this show that's weaker than the other. They're all so incredibly strong. And the narrative itself is, like, airtight. It is so, like, intentionally written and, like, tight knit that, like, every single narrative beat is perfectly logically sound and connects perfectly. Like, there's zero plot holes in any capacity. Everything in the story is a direct domino effect into other pieces of the story, and all of the character arcs they're not divorced from each other. Everything that happens in each of them is so intrinsically connected to one another, where, like, one character arc, something will happen, and this will cause a domino effect to lead to the next plot event for another character arc. Even if these two characters haven't crossed paths or have no direct connection, the fact that it's so tightly woven and so clean, the narrative is just so clean that, it's perfect writing. It is perfect writing. So overall, that's kind of my gist for season 1. The story is incomplete. The story is I believe the story ends in season 2 from what I've heard and gathered. So the story is at a halfway point right now, and I'm already saying this stuff about it. I think, like I said, my opinions could very well change based on when I watch season 2. But as of now, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. And the fact that it's a League of Legends show is just absolutely insane to me. Oh, one thing I wanted to mention before I wrap up is this show is definitely like, what if Ruby was good? This is the exact energy I wanted from like later volume Ruby, like especially like the Atlas arc. This is like exactly what I wanted from that, and like this is like, it has the exact energy of where Ruby should have gone, I feel like, to the point where I almost feel like, if this is almost is complete conjecture and speculation, but like it almost feels like an answer to Ruby's downfall, you know, by the writers. I would be incredibly surprised if these writers hadn't seen Ruby and weren't Ruby fans and disappointed by the show's decline. Because this show almost seems like an exact answer to that. Like, what if Ruby stayed good, what it would have become. This show is so reminiscent of Ruby, and perfectly articulates what I would have liked to see, specifically from like the Atlas arc of Ruby and post volume 3 and 4 stuff. And it's just so good. It's so good. And I will be back with my thoughts on part 2 or the second season, and overall thoughts on the series, because this very well might change. If I don't like the way it ends, that's a huge game changer here. But as of now, season 1 on its own is one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. So, yeah, that's kind of my general thoughts right now. See you guys soon.